3, 2, 1.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the JKA podcast, brought to you by JKAgear.com. Go check it out for all your sweet Star Wars swag, news, etc. Today on the podcast, we have Matt Galupo,
Trevor Adams,
Brandon Winfrey.
And Kevin Burke.
All right, so we are even closer to Star Wars than our last podcast was. Just by a mere, 30 minutes since recording this, I'm breaking the fourth wall right off the bat.
Matt,
It has been
illusion.
shattered.
It's gone.
And I'm just gonna take you guys real quick through my I already know what's gonna happen on Star Wars Day of. I know my reaction to the movie already.
Tears.
Oh, man.
So
Many
it's
tears.
I'm gonna sit down. We're gonna see the movie. The Star Wars, the opening scroll is gonna start immediate tears. I'm immediately gonna be crying. Just when I
Yeah,
see
the
Star
letters
Wars.
go up,
Yeah,
the tears come
great.
down.
And then at the very end, it's gonna do that iris out, and then we're gonna see the,
Yep.
and then again tears, and I'm gonna be like, that was the best movie ever made.
And then there's another 2 hours of movie.
And then it does not matter what the movie is. The movie could be horrible.
You're just gonna
They
black out
could
during that
show
time.
just a Star Trek movie. I would not tell the difference. It's gonna be an amazing movie. It's gonna finish and I'll be like, that was amazing. That was the best movie ever. I'm gonna have to then see it again to figure it out if that was a good movie or if it wasn't. So I want to talk about today the quite possible eventuality of this movie sucking and what that would mean for us. I know, right? It's horrible.
We
It's
haven't talked about this
blasphemy
yet.
for everything. But we're here at the end,
That would
and
be
I just
so
want
funny. It would be so
right.
Oh
I want to
my
play
God.
devil's advocate for the end. What if this
Awesome.
movie sucks? First question. Second question. Why would this movie suck? What are the reasons that are going to make this movie awful?
So I guess I'm going to go.
Sure.
I feel like a lot of people are going to have hype, colored glasses on.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
I
going
am
to
one of them.
completely blind people to the actual movie, and they're going to be so wrapped up in the excitement, and that's going to work in the movie's favor for opening box office reasons.
Yeah.
But as it comes down to
Hype's
it,
a very opaque color, so
yeah, it blurs
Sure.
it, and it masks imperfections.
3D glasses.
But as we go back, and so I'm just agreeing with you. I don't know where I was going with that.
Okay. I feel like you've just asked the question again. I mean, yeah.
No, I had a point. Completely forgot it.
Okay. Why do we think, just to reiterate the question, wonderful
Build up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Build up to the question again for everybody.
Yeah.
Why is this movie going to suck?
All right, I'll give you a reason.
All right.
Okay. They're really trying hard to make every single person in the world like them. I think sometimes you can have a little bit of disjointedness.
Sure.
And let's not also forget, J.J. Abrams done a lot of great stuff. He's also done some maybe not so great stuff.
For instance,
Name some.
Okay. Super 8.
sure.
Your views on that?
I like Super
No,
8.
but that's the point. It's
I like
like
Super 8.
Yeah, I
Super
like
8 is
Super 8.
2/3
It's
of a
not
great
like,
movie.
Oh my God, I love Super 8. That guy should make all the Star Wars.
I mean, he put Kyle Chandler in it. So that's how you'd make Star Wars better right now. Put Kyle Chandler in
damn,
it.
I like that.
Right?
sorry, Brandon.
Yeah,
you,
and then,
you were
and then
building up to a point.
some people have very opposing views on Star Trek. I'm just saying that he doesn't have
Sure.
the perfect. He has a great track record, but it's not perfect, and it's not like. So we'll just see. I still think it'll be a good movie, but we're shooting blind.
Yeah. Do you have any like concrete examples of what you think will happen, or are you just saying in general he might be trying to appease too many
I
people?
think everyone is going to connect to everyone else somehow and make the universe feel small, which isn't necessarily a bad
Galaxy,
thing. But I think they're just gonna. I think they're gonna connect everyone so that everyone will be like, "Oh, I remember that from this. Oh, I remember that from that." I think it's just gonna be
the
an
Star Trek
endless
syndrome,
cycle
sure.
of references to make people happy.
Yeah.
And
Which-
that is the main thing I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
Which is what happened in Star Trek. A lot of people complained about
yeah.
there's too many winks and nods to the old series and that sort of thing.
It
and
didn't
just-
make it feel
Yeah,
standalone.
and it also kind of feels like you're taken out of it every single time. It's like, oh, that's an old thing. That's not something.
Yeah.
You're,
Sure.
you're reminded of a different thing, and you're suddenly not thinking about the movie that you're watching.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this isn't real. This is a movie referencing itself. This doesn't feel
Yeah.
like a standalone universe.
Well, referencing a
that's true.
TV show that it's based on.
Yeah.
Well,
which
I meant
is-
specifically for Star Wars.
Oh,
I
sorry.
meant,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
for
yeah,
Star
yes.
Wars, if Star Wars starts referencing itself, all of a sudden you're right. That's crumbling the galaxy, the universe that
yeah.
this is built.
Let's not
Yeah.
forget that maybe one of the major plot points is BB-8 crash lands on a desert planet, and he has the location of Luke. Does that sound familiar?
No.
So
yeah.
Wait,
No, I
is
understand.
it a desert planet?
Yes.
Sorry, it's a
Coming back to
dessert
me.
planet. I'm sorry.
Oh,
It's
delicious.
all
man.
ice cream.
Yeah.
Trevor, you were gonna have a thought earlier, or is that gone?
Well, now
Did
now you
dessert-
scared
did
it away
dessert
like a
just-
sneeze.
Sorry. All right.
Oh.
Well, all right. Yeah,
So
go.
sorry, I think
Sure.
one of the other weaknesses is kind of you're talking about hype, but I think that the way that could backfire is raised expectations. Is that we've had 3 pretty amazing trailers that have, I know for me, had great effect. Like
Yeah.
like those like really get me worked
Almost
up about
feels like
Star
we've
Wars.
watched the movie already, where it's like, oh, I have all this satisfied feeling inside of me.
Yeah, where it's like,
from the
oh, that's
movie,
almost all
or from the trailers.
I don't want to say that's almost all I needed because right now the movie's perfect in my head.
Yeah,
And the second it becomes concrete, they make one choice. It's all of a sudden not perfect because it's a real thing. Again, it's
That's true.
imperfect by its nature.
So
of
right now it's Schrodinger's movie.
yeah,
Yes. As soon as
It's both
we
perfect and
open
terrible.
the
Right.
movie, the cat is dead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that
It's
works.
going to literally kill the
No,
cat.
every time there's a bell in the movie, you remember the old Star Warses. That's
Pavlov's Schrodinger cat.
That's-
That's what we're on right
that
now.
was perfect.
So I think that can really like hurt the movie as far as like when you come back to it or anytime that you're again, it's like you're like, oh, this is what I thought it was.
Yeah.
This was
perfect
what I was
movie-
hoping it was going to
yeah,
be.
the perfect movie in your head is not the perfect movie in Brandon's. It's not the perfect. It's not the perfect.
Exactly.
So no matter what, they're disappointing everybody but Brandon. I feel like Brandon has imagined the perfect Star Wars movie.
yeah. It's there.
and they will make that one.
I'd like to bring up another film franchise that was revisited however many years after and
Is
was
it Straw
terrible.
Dogs? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I brought it up. In this. Continue.
You've never done that before.
Continue.
You've
I'm
never
so
brought up
sorry.
a previous
So there was one movie I think a lot of people were excited about. I myself included. Whatever. Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
That movie was objectively bad.
I have thoughts on the movie, but I know what you're talking about, where they kind of tried to make it something different than like they try to kind of bring this the franchise a little more modern.
But
And they just stretched they pushed the boundaries in those movies of like reality and mysticism and everything. And like there was weird, the guy pulled a heart out of a chest, it was still beating, the guy was screaming. Like stuff happened in that movie that shouldn't happen in the real world. So there was suspension of disbelief. Then they just were like, I'm gonna bring up the nuclear explosion and the refrigerator.
Shia LaBeouf swings with
That's
the
Shia
monkey.
LaBeouf as an
that's
action
the worst
star.
thing to me. Like the fridge thing is actually like I can kind of forgive that it's an action movie. I understand he'd be mush.
yeah, you don't. I don't
but-
think you guys understand. The fridge was lead lined.
Oh,
did you see
okay,
that? That
okay.
was a
You
shot.
know, it actually was the impact that I was more worried about, man.
Yeah,
I don't know if
his
you thought
like
about the
again,
fact that-
spine or bones
lead
fracturing.
lined. Lead is amazing.
Anyway, so a couple things that movie and Star Wars have in common. One, it's being revisited however many years after. And two, Harrison Ford.
who kind
Okay.
of phones it in a little bit in that movie. I think
like
we can.
also, but like to be, I know this is a Harrison, but to be fair, Harrison Ford kind of phones it in the original Star Wars, which is why it works so well. Is this whole thing looks like so far below Han Solo
Yeah.
that they're like, oh, it works so well.
Right, but at that age when he was Han Solo, he
Swagger and stuff.
He
Like,
had all of that personality and swagger, and now he just kind of. I love you, Harrison, and if you're watching this,
Which he
adopt
is.
me.
He
I
is
think
our,
he's
he's
a
our
biggest
fan.
He's getting stoned and watching this.
he is a kind of a crazy old man. Like if he and Jeff Bridges did a buddy comedy, I would see the shit out of that movie. Just two cranky old dude. One's a hippie, one hates everything. Throw Tommy Lee Jones in there for good measure. That's a movie I'd want to watch. Just crazy old men. I don't know if that attitude translates to Han Solo or if he'll be able to dig deep and sift through that 40, 30 years
Well,
of just like life.
So I'm just gonna try to distill all
Don't.
of what you said. I feel like you're like, oh, Star Wars might suck because of Han Solo. Was that the
Well,
point?
No.
I
The man playing Han Solo.
Okay.
Han Solo is perfect.
I think what's going to happen is people are not going to like the Han Solo they see in the movie because he's an older guy and he also saw all this incredible stuff. So he's not the jaded guy that he used to be. He's not.
He's been unjaded.
Yeah, and that's
You're
kind
right.
of like
a
he.
wise Han Solo is a weird Han Solo. Yeah,
Right?
he's
Yeah,
that
'cause that's-
young,
that's what we've seen.
arrogant
It's like he-
cynicism.
Yeah, of him be like, it's all true. It's like that's the total opposite of the guy we fell in love with, who's like,
Yeah.
you know, hokey religions are no match for a good blaster. Like that's Han Solo.
Han Solo is in this movie the Obi-Wan Kenobi of episode 4. He's the old guy who was there before, who has seen it all and has to impart
Yeah,
wisdom
and
on the
will
new
die At the
generation.
end of this movie, yeah.
We don't
Or
know
become
that.
a Force ghost. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. He very
Han, a
well
Force
could
ghost.
do that.
Just
He would
switching-
hate that group of people. He would hate that.
Oh, he'd be so upset.
pissed off
when he-
Yeah.
as the force goes.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Damn it.
I need a force blaster. What?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
So another
Yeah.
reason that it might
Let's
be
get started.
okay.
Yeah.
If you look at A New Hope, it's a pretty singular movie,
Yeah.
right? Because he didn't know if there would be more.
Right.
I know that JJ has said that this is a movie that stands on its own, but
You don't trust
I
him.
don't exactly believe that. I think there's going to be a lot of cliffhangers, which you kind of had in New Hope, but New Hope wraps up beautifully. They all get
Yeah,
medals. They blow up the Death Star. Great. I don't know if we're going to have that moment in this movie. I think it might be another. We already know it's going to be a trilogy. We're going in hardcore,
Sure.
so we can just leave it off with Kylo Ren escapes again.
Got it. It's
something
going to be like
that.
a Fellowship of the Ring,
I
where
was just
all
gonna
of a
say that.
sudden we have all this exposition, all this setup, and no movie left.
Yeah,
I
Right.
could see that.
which is the fear I had.
But I love that
in my
movie.
dream.
Okay, first, I think that Lord of the Rings does that well of having each movie be self-contained and have satisfying conclusions, even though you know there's more coming. I
Fellowship feels like an Act One.
You might be blinded. You might be
may-
Lord of the
may-
Rings
maybe I
blinded.
am, but I do.
I mean,
think
in
I think
general,
the better
I will
exam-
say it's Harry Potter. Is that what you're going to
No,
say?
the better example of someone that split up things well, it was The Hobbit. I think everybody.
Sure, it could be a Hobbit
Oh.
instead of a Fellowship.
Oh,
I guess we could
guys,
say
so
that.
many
It could
thoughts
be-
that are not Star Wars related right now.
Yeah, we can't. We can't.
We
this is
can't. That's
not-
another podcast. Tune in. We'll do it
Totally
right
different.
after. We'll reference Straw Dogs again. You'll love it.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't seen the remake, but I love
Well,
the
that's it.
original.
We don't need to. Oh, it was brought up too much last time
Yeah.
for nobody knowing what that is.
Super violent.
What another thing that could be kind of bad was like Star Wars started off as kind of this B science fiction movie that just took off and was amazing, and as a result, we forgive it for a lot of stuff. Like it kind of has some.
It's actually not well shot.
Yeah,
Like,
right. It's kind of the directing, especially of
There are
4,
wipes.
isn't great.
The transitions
There
are wipes.
Irises, wipes all over the
Yeah.
place. The acting is kind of stilted. Like it's
Yeah.
good for a sci-fi movie, but it's not amazing acting.
No.
So now all of a sudden we're trying to take all this like B sci-fi tropes and apply it to this like huge movie. I think that's going to be a little weird. I think it's going to be weird because we're going to say all these new actors are amazing. Like we've seen them
Yeah.
in stuff and they're phenomenal. And we're going to see them going up against these, though veterans are not A-list actors. Like they are
Mark
not.
Hamill, I think, definitely could. I think
Mark
Hamill's
Hamill
the
can
best
hold
actor
his
of the bunch.
own.
But that's
think.
a recent thing. He in the original trilogy was
Could not.
was
Right,
not
no,
as good,
could
but
not.
now he's amazing.
He's
like,
learned.
really
Like
good.
he'll
He's-
disappear into any role.
But like I just like against Harrison Ford now, especially he just again seems like he stopped caring. And Carrie Fisher, who is an amazing entertainer, fantastic writer,
So funny.
but like not necessarily the best actress.
Yeah.
I think they're like it's going to seem like two different performances,
Mm.
and like it's
because
gonna
you
seem
have
like
to
two
match that
different movies.
tone.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it also is like acting looks different now than it did before. Like we have different expectations of what is presented on
sure.
screen and what those
Yeah.
realities are, and as acting evolves, and you're kind of trying to mesh two different tones from two different times.
Yeah.
and that'll be kind of an interesting thing to see. Like you say, if the younger actors are doing a more modern thing, and the older actors are kind of like, oh, they're still in 1977. That's kind of interesting choice there. It might not mesh.
So yeah, acting, I think in general, and directing and all this other stuff that we forgave before, we're going to be expecting top of the line.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's going to mesh with Star Wars. I don't know if that's going to mesh with the universe.
Well-
all of a sudden, we're not going to forgive stuff. Do you have a counterpoint?
Well, yeah, I just think basically these new movies. It's this weird thing if they have so much hype, but they also kind of have a get out of jail free pass
The
because
prequels.
of the prequels.
Yeah.
The prequels were just so kind of non-Star Wars for people.
Yeah.
That really these movies, all I think these movies are gonna do is be like, let's do what the originals did, make it action adventure, and have more action. Like have slick action.
Sure.
And then we'll
Pod
sell it. We'll
racing.
be the perfect blockbuster. Boom, bada bing. Kill Han. Get your emotional moment in there. Shaboom.
You just really want Han to die.
Yeah, that's
Well,
that's the
I think they're
thesis
just
of
going to rely
everything,
on
I
that.
think.
I mean, somebody's going to die, right?
I think it's Chewie.
Yeah, well, Chewie's not much of an emotional thing.
But he's
right?
someone that the franchise could lose, and it's not. it's someone.
Kevin's being
Not
cynical
essential.
about it.
Sorry, guys.
Does
I'm
Han
cynical.
Solo want to do another movie?
I think he's contracted. I
Okay,
think
well,
there
there
are
we go.
contracts in place.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, but
No, I
so
can see that.
yeah, and I think that it's kind of like for us, like, what does it mean to us if this movie's bad? I guess because like we've already kind of had our hearts broken. You talk about the prequels. Of like we know what it's like to go into a Star Wars franchise like reboot and be like excited because we were what 10?
Yeah, but
when the
I
first
want to
ones-
see. We also all enjoyed the
Yeah,
we
when I watched
saw
them
it,
at
when
the
we
time.
saw the prequels, we enjoyed.
we were
them.
too young to. We were young. We were like Star Wars. We were yay. We were the target demo for those movies.
Yeah.
because
I didn't
they
know
worked
they were
for
bad
us.
until
I was
the second.
bored.
Yeah.
The
I
second
was
one was
bored
when I
by
walked
the
in.
second one.
What? Yeah,
I
the
was
second,
bored,
yeah,
and then the big battle. In
And
the
then
middle,
by the
I
time of the
liked,
third
but-
one, we were kind of old enough to have.
But then
a
they
little
kind
more
of
nuance.
they
But
corrected some things. They
Third
made it
one,
more
they finally
fun.
gave us a
was-
Yoda
yeah,
fight
yeah.
that was awesome
Oh, yeah.
with Palpatine.
Well,
Off the
that's a
chain.
whole nother thing. Yoda shouldn't. Anyway, that's a whole nother podcast that we don't need to get into.
Is it because wars not make one great?
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. There you go.
We learned that when we read Brandon that book.
Yeah, true.
We're just calling back to all these other podcasts today.
You know what?
We're doing
This is
what
the
we're
time
afraid
to do
Star
it.
Wars is going to do.
Yeah, we are right
We're
now.
being too
That's true.
self-referential.
Oh man!
So
Cut it out, Kevin.
Oh man!
It's
I
too
didn't
real.
even- guys, you made it. Oh, it's so real. now.
Matt.
So another thing that can ruin Star Wars, unless you have.
Well, I was
different-
just gonna basically ask the question. Upon this second viewing,
Yeah.
where you look at it from a filmic standpoint.
You mean
with
in the
your
future, right?
degree in
yeah,
film,
Yeah.
and it's bad.
That's right, guys. Degree in film. You too could one day be on a Star Wars podcast if you stay in school, film school.
And you were like, this is not a good movie. How does that affect you? Because I'm gonna say that you're the biggest Star Wars fan out of the four of us.
I would agree.
Yeah.
That might be true. At least I've spent the most money on Star Wars out of all
Okay,
of
well,
us.
that's what
That, I
defines a
guess,
fan.
that-
What do you
Well,
mean,
guys? In the
Matthew?
last podcast, if
That
you go back and look at that, we talked
means
about
a
what
fan.
makes a Star Wars.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
so-
I'm doing it again.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no,
The plug, the podcast. If you
No.
haven't seen it, go look at the other podcast. Gosh, that is a wonderful question. Because like honestly, I was such a Star Wars apologist, and I have been for like 1, 2, and 3. Like it has taken all of me
Sure.
to be like, hey guys, there's good stuff in 1, 2, and 3. Like it
Yeah.
really actually like furthered what like being a Jedi means, guys. Like it really did some.
That's
cool
a great
stuff
impression of
for the
yourself.
like metaphysics of the universe that like wasn't there in 4, 5, and 6.
You're really going
no
on
one
with this
cares
for a while.
about.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
want to
no,
talk
it was.
about what?
I feel like I just want to apologize for 1, 2, and 3 and talk about the great stuff, which I think we also never mind. So like what that would mean, like for me, if like this is a bad film, it would take a lot of wind out of my sails for keeping up with Star Wars. Because like keeping up with Star Wars
a
is an
lot.
exhausting thing, and it's only going to get more exhausting as more comic books come out and more movies come out. So
TV
if, like, if like
shows.
the keystone that like everything, because they wiped the canon. So like this next movie is like a brick in the foundation that everything else is going to be built off of. So if like this sucks, I don't
It's a
know.
Soggy brick.
I've heard Doctor Who's good. I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
No.
Matt, you would.
I don't
want
wanna
to
have to do
Dr.
that
Who
I would hate
podcast.
Doctor
You would
Who.
hate it
It
because
is-
they break
oh,
their
it's-
rules a lot.
Yeah,
Okay, well,
as
then-
far as sci-fi goes,
Maybe
you
Doctor
you
Who.
would not like it at all.
I don't even know. I feel like I'm gonna have to burn down.
Come to
the
Lord of the
set.
Rings, Matt.
Yeah,
We're friendly.
Yeah, I
The
know.
canon's all set. The movies are
can't do any
done.
more stuff,
It's
yeah.
great.
The movies aren't done.
It's nice and warm over here.
Oh yeah, it'd be rough.
What?
But I don't know. Like, there's more. It's kind of weird because they've left open Hope. A New
What?
Hope. They've left it open because there's going to be more movies. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe the next one, and which I remember was a thing with the prequels. So like,
Oh.
3's going to be great. I remember having that feeling.
If this kicks off the trilogy in a not great way, are you then more excited for like Rogue One and stuff like that?
No, I think if it doesn't kick off the trilogy, it's all of a sudden we're back to like waiting for Star Wars Episode 2 and being like, maybe it was a fluke. Maybe you can't make 4 great movies in a row, but the 5th movie is going to be really good. My ultimate worry was what was confirmed with George Lucas is that he did not know what was great about Star Wars. That he knew what he liked about Star Wars, which was the politics,
family melodrama.
apparently, and the
banking clan.
the banking clans. But he didn't know what fans liked about Star Wars. So my worry is now that Disney doesn't know what fans necessarily liked about Star Wars.
I feel like they may, but
They
in
must,
a
right? 'Cause, like,
Disneyfied version.
But
like,
because he is like J.J. Abrams is a Star Wars fan, so maybe he does know. But
Because
I'm not
that-
sure.
everyone wants to be surprised. People won't say this. People say they want exactly the same thing over and over again, and I think on some level they do. But in order to keep a fire alive, I think you need an
gotta add new-
injection of some surprise.
No,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
absolutely.
Your metaphor
So-
mixing is magical.
Thank you. I'm just wondering if we're gonna have that surprise in this one, and I don't even know what that surprise should be or would be. But
If you did, it wouldn't
Thus
be a
the nature
surprise.
of a surprise.
Well, this is, I mean, it's not necessarily with the surprise, but like Star Wars has always given us new stuff, usually in terms of innovation. Like 4, 5, and 6, these were the first time. This was the first time we saw special effects and visual effects on this scale.
Yeah.
We saw a movie like driven by
that
and
looked
creating a
really
complete
good.
world
That were
that
like
looked
seamless.
great. I mean,
looks
now
good.
we forgive them a little bit, but like still, like they
if
hold,
you watch
I
those
will
movies
use the
on
word
Blu-ray,
hold
like,
up. They
all the
hold
practical
up.
effects hold up
Yeah,
really
yeah.
well. It's the CGI ones they added that actually kind of like
The
they look
throw,
aged.
sure,
No, I'm
sure.
serious. Yeah.
No,
just-
it's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
interesting point.
Yeah.
But when we go to 1, 2, and 3, they
Puppet
also
Yoda.
innovated
Puppet Yoda was amazing.
in 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's the innovation you're talking about, right?
That's it. That's the one
Puppet Yoda?
right there, Puppet Yoda. But yeah, like I think 2 was completely digital. Like that was, I think, one of the first completely like that wasn't shot on film.
Yeah.
Yeah, movies, and we got our first fully CG hero character in Jar Jar Binks, which I know how we all feel about Jar Jar
He
Binks.
could have been so
but
much better.
visually.
Yeah.
It looks very good, especially for so they've always innovated and kind of thrown out these new tricks, these new surprises visually.
Yeah.
I don't think this new movie is going to have it.
Yeah, it's kind of they're sort of trying to do the best of both worlds, where they're going to blend the CGI and the practical effects, which is kind of, I think, what we've concluded is like the best things. Like everyone talks about Mad Max Fury Road, and that movie did exactly.
so
No, it is, but
Yeah.
that's what it did great, was that it had a practical base that it built on with CGI. Because that movie is filled with
Sure,
CGI.
sure.
And people like all talk about all the practical effects, but it's both.
Right.
Yeah, but
And-
it didn't innovate, which I guess Star Wars normally does.
Sure,
So
but
I'm
what
not
about
sure
this?
we're gonna see.
What about
Yeah.
this, Matt?
Yeah.
What if you walk into the theater, sit down, and you're sitting in front of a screen, and
Okay.
then they're like, surprise, everyone from under your seat, pull out an Oculus Rift, and then you put it on, and it's actually in virtual reality. This new Star Wars movie is in a virtual reality scene.
Where we have to direct ourselves, where we have to look around.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
that's
Well, hold on.
My neck is gonna be so tired.
I don't
Yeah.
think it'd be like 360. I think it'd be like theater. So you could like.
No, you wouldn't
But
put
you're
it
not
on
in
in,
an
in
theater.
another theater.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Look beside you, and
Well,
there's-
you're not. If you're sitting in a chair, you're not gonna get like full 360
Right,
all the
but
way
you
around.
could still do this, but obviously
yeah,
they're
you get like
anyways.
180 theater,
Which
It'd
is
be
kind of like IMAX screens are sort of like that. Just they do one really big screen instead of several small ones, where you
okay,
can look
it's
at
totally
different parts of the
different.
screen.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It fills up your field of vision. That's
no,
the
that's true.
whole
Yeah.
point.
That's
Get
true.
your science
But
out of
I guess
this.
we're not going to get. My whole point is we're not going to get that new innovation from Star Wars, so they're going to have to work that much harder. Like it's not like, oh, look at these new effects. Like
Yeah.
they're not. We're all going to see old stuff. By old stuff that's been done before.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to. It's going to have to be that much better, which is worrisome. Also
Yeah.
to me.
I think that Trevor brought up something that we should probably talk about.
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
that-
Let's talk about stuff I talked up.
Well,
about.
you're talking
Yep.
about Disneyfication. We haven't
Oh.
talked about that at
No.
all.
That
Disney
was-
Vacation.
That was
Disney
Brandon.
Disney's
Disneyfication.
Brandon brought up
Vacation.
Disney
I brought
Vacation.
Disney.
That's different.
Vacation.
Oh, you brought it up?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, Brandon.
So Trevor, yet again, showing we do not need him on the podcast.
You really don't. I've contributed nothing. I've repeated you. I've insulted Brandon.
But who would wear that hat?
That's true.
Yeah, and
We need-
we gotta
we need
have
that
some
hat.
looks on the podcast so people watch it.
Oh, he's the looks.
I'm also the voice.
Sex sells.
I'm also the voice of the podcast.
So Disneyfication. How is that gonna
Disneyfication.
affect
Okay,
Star
so
Wars?
Yeah, Disneyfications.
one of the craziest scenes in the original trilogy is Leia.
Violence. It's everything that's
It's-
not
it's-
Mickey Mouse.
Again,
well,
yeah.
Mickey Mouse is.
Well, they've
sex.
actually
I
It's
think
the
we
stopped-
can
Game
all
of Thrones
agree.
scene we've
They've
all been
tried
waiting
to
for.
remove all of the slave Leia stuff. Like
Yeah.
again, and that's I understand. I get why they're doing that, and I think
Yeah.
that it's good for Daisy Ridley to not be, just a sex object in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
movie. Obviously,
She's gonna be my favorite character.
So what I
I
would
already
have
know
done
it.
instead of removing Slave Leia is I would have done a slave John Boyega, and then just even the playing field.
Every
No,
male
I
character.
don't want to see him in a gold bikini.
that's all I want to
he
see.
probably looks great, but I just don't want to see it.
He would pull off gold. Like
Yeah.
I could tell you right now, gold bikini. Oh,
Yeah.
it'd look great.
I wish I could pull off gold.
Your father must be so proud.
Yeah.
but anyway, so I
yeah.
think there are a lot of elements in Star Wars like that where they kind of do allude to darker elements and like seedier things. Like the cantina scene's one of the most famous. Like that's in a bar. just like it's a dive bar, and I'm not sure if Disney can show you someone's arm getting cut off and like it bleeds all over the floor in that movie.
I think they'll have some. I'm trying to think of other past Disney movies, like Marvel. Marvel gets pretty graphic-esque.
Not,
You never
but
see
but
blood.
yeah, you never see blood, and like people are never like if they're shot, it's like they're soldiers whose faces you never seen. It's at a distance, and I don't know. I don't think they address the reality of those kind of things. That's something that Star Wars has always kind of been a lived-in
Yeah.
world. That
I
they show.
don't know
not
if it's
clean
going to
and
be an
pristine.
issue for this one because I
Sure.
think like
You think
J.J.
the grittier
Abrams
ones.
has enough like
Pull.
clout
Yeah.
and to like go for it. But yeah, for like grittier stuff with a lesser director, I think that's then going to be an issue.
Like Rogue One. Like
yeah,
Rogue One's
Rogue
a war
One,
story.
I could see being an issue where they won't allow that stuff because that Gareth Edwards, right?
Yes.
Gareth Edwards.
Yeah.
Gareth Edwards necessarily doesn't have the same pull J.J. Abrams has,
Yeah.
so he can't like go up against executives in the same way. So I could see grittier Star Wars not being gritty at all.
yeah.
But for the tentpole, I don't know if it's a big deal.
Yeah.
You keep on.
Yeah, yeah.
Trevor
like
keeps on opening his mouth like he has
For
a
those in the
point
audio
and then
podcast,
closing it.
I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
really trying to screw up the editing.
Yeah, that's
No.
just
Ah.
like a grouper or something.
Is that a fish?
Nice fish, man.
Yeah, thanks.
It
thanks,
is.
guys.
Well, okay. So my last question. This is something that is a weird note to end on for this, but I think it's what would it take for you guys to like put aside Star Wars in this movie? Like what is
Yeah,
Wait,
what's
your,
the killing blow?
yeah?
to
What's the
get-
What's
sacrilege
the
thing?
killing blow
To
that
give
would-
up Star Wars completely, like to
Yeah.
stop being a fan of Star Wars.
And, like,
No,
There's-
no, no,
would
no.
or
To
could that
stop
happen?
being like a future fan, to where it's
Oh.
like, okay, I don't care
Yeah.
about this new stuff.
I feel like there's nothing this movie can do.
To make you not
I
care.
really
Which
like.
is a reason it could be bad.
That
'cause
is
people
such
have-
an awful answer.
I
That is
know.
an awful answer for like podcast viewers.
Okay, fine. Well,
Or
I'll make
listeners.
something up, but I'm telling you, personal opinion. This movie could be one of the worst movies I've ever seen, ever, and I'd still be like, oh. All right, what's the next,
next?
Star Wars? I'm in. I don't
Is that
care.
gonna-
Because
I think
it gives it the opportunity to do better.
And-
I guess if Hayden Christensen showed up at any point, I'd be super pissed off. I'd be really upset with this
Yeah.
Star Wars movie. If Hayden Christensen's Star Wars Force Ghost shows up in this movie, I will lose it.
I have a question.
Not in a
All
good
right,
way.
All right, so Force Ghost would be bad. What if it's a clone? What if it's Darth Vader
No.
clone?
Well, that's the thing.
No.
That's actually bleeds into my point. And
Yeah,
it's
what's your
like,
point?
If they resurrect Darth Vader, which I don't think they will, but if they resurrect Darth Vader, I think I'm gonna be like, okay, maybe I don't want to get this supernatural mysticism
Yeah.
with this version of Star Wars. I know it works in Clone Wars sometimes, but like, I don't know if I want the mainline stories. To me were always about impossible odds.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
classic story. So I don't know if I want them to dip into, oh, we have to get Darth Vader's life force, and that'll help us with the Force, so we're going to resurrect him and complete his thing.
Got it.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
If they do, like, oh, there's no way we can win, but through the power of friendship and love,
Yeah,
we
so,
win.
Sure.
That would, like, if they
That's
receive.
You mean like using some kind of impossible invisible force to like make an impossible shot or something?
they plant
or-
the Force at the beginning. It's totally
It's not a
fine.
MacGuffin at all.
Yeah,
No. If they do that, like if they actually receive a tactical advantage at the last minute because of a Deus Ex Machina, because a friend shows up,
That's a great movie.
Fine,
But
but if it's just we love harder and then they win, like an anime ending, that would piss me off.
But like, I don't know if that's gonna make you stop Star Wars. Like,
No,
your
I'll
first
just-
answer's good. That answer's good. So for me, what would make me stop Star Wars if they start bringing in other sci-fi tropes that aren't Star Wars. Example,
Ooh,
like
yeah, like
time manipulation.
Oh.
If
Mm.
time manipulation is brought in all, which has
Yeah.
like been very popular in sci-fi, all of a sudden, if time manipulation is brought into Star Wars, I would just be like, well, none of it matters. Nothing matters again. Like
Yeah.
whenever like sci-fi stuff bring it in where it's not there at the beginning, I'm like, oh, that's it, because
makes
that
no
that
sense.
doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters.
What if they
Time.
go to
Interesting.
Earth?
The Earth? So that's another good sci-fi trope. That if they bring in Earth, oh my god, oh I swear to God. So yeah, if they start bringing in outside sci-fi tropes into Star Wars, I think that might be it for me.
which I think is again that's one of those things that I think Star Wars the original trilogy did so well. everything that you need to know is introduced in the first movie. They don't
Yeah.
add any new rules, any new elements, which is something that I think a lot of trilogies kind of mess up with. Like Pirates of the Caribbean is the one that I go to, where they have like, oh, they're undead pirates.
Such a good first movie.
So good. That movie's so great. But then afterwards, it's like, oh, there's a guy who ferries souls, and there's also a lot more magic things that you don't know
Yeah.
about. There's this whole mythology. It's just like, wait, hold, what? I didn't sign up for that.
Well, but
I wanted these rules. The
Yeah.
Matrix is another example of that too,
Mm.
where they kind of blow up their rule system in
Yeah.
the second and third movies.
But there is always that pressure, right? I mean,
To go bigger, you mean?
Or go
yeah,
home.
I mean,
But it doesn't need to be bigger as long as the rules stay the same. Like Star Wars got bigger as it went, but it was still like, again, they did a Death Star again.
midichlorian.
But it was a
Yeah.
bigger Death Star.
And,
Yeah,
it
and-
still worked though. Nobody
Yeah.
really complains. It's like it's the same plot again. Everybody's like, okay, that makes sense. It's
Mhm.
like they built another Death
It
Star.
would it makes sense that the Empire rebounds and it's like, well, this one didn't work. Let's make a
Go
bigger one with
bigger.
better defenses.
with better
I'm also not
exhaust.
crazy about that fan rumor of the like the Star Crusher or whatever.
oh,
it's
that
called.
giant planet.
Yeah,
being,
that it's just like,
a
oh, so this is
ship.
another Death Star. Was that
Oh.
really the end all be all of
That
these
if
plans?
it's the what is that called from the extended universe? Sun Crushers? What are
yeah,
they called?
it's something like that. Where
Where it
Star,
destroys suns.
Why
Oh,
would you
yeah,
wanna
yeah,
destroy
that's the-
suns?
that's
That's the next. That's the
Who's
next.
which
Sun?
I get is an escalation, which is cool, but it's also man, it just I don't want to have to relive battle plans and flying to the core of another thing. Even though that's cool, it's like, yeah, they did it really well 2 times
Yeah.
already.
So this is another thing that for me, and we talked about this a little in the last podcast, that could ruin it, but maybe not, is a complicated Star Wars. Like it won't ruin it for me, but that could be another thing. I guess back to the original point of what could make Star Wars suck
Yeah.
is a complicated Star Wars.
Sure.
A plot where I'm like, what? Like we were
Some-
before, it's like to get Death Star plans to people who can destroy Death Star makes sense.
Yeah.
That right there, I
Yeah,
get.
the overall plot is
And then-
simple, and then
and then you know,
characters-
and then all of
yeah.
a sudden, like it's the intricacy with the characters and the
Yeah.
world and all the roadblocks in the way. But like a complicated plot
Mm-hmm.
in a complicated universe, I think wouldn't work. Simple plot, complicated.
I
universe
imagine
is
with the
Star Wars.
audience they're trying to reach with this movie, that's probably not. It's not going to be
Yeah,
overly
yeah.
complicated,
That's
but
what,
that's
the
understandable
prequels are
here.
pretty complicated when you break them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think among other things, yeah, that's the issue.
I still don't know who made some. I'm not going to get into it. Anyway, but I think that something that I've noticed in modern blockbusters, and like I think the Avengers is like the worst offender of this. Is
Oh,
40
talk to me about Avengers.
what?
Just do it. Just
But do it fast. Do it fast.
out of
We
the way.
are close to
45
time.
minute action scenes.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
yeah.
Well,
want-
if they can do character within those action scenes,
No, but that's
I'm
no,
fine
that's
with
not
them.
how movies. You need to give us a break. We need pacing to like
Yeah.
readjust and actually
Well, Mad Max
reassess the
is
stakes.
almost one long action scene.
No,
It
but they
takes
have
breaks
so
for
many
character.
good breaks in that
But
where they're
Avengers
driving
stuff have
along.
breaks.
Oh man, and the breaks in Mad
Right.
Max, you really like you just
They make those count.
and you like everybody in the theater just sighed when those happened because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we've all been holding our breath.
Yeah.
It was so cool. It was a really cool experience.
I guess
like
we will
Mad
see how
Max a
much
lot.
action.
All
is
right,
in
so we are at
Um,
time. The last thing I want to do, like we talked about, what would like ruin Star Wars? Is there like one thing where it's like if they ruin everything else, but have this one thing in Star Wars, you will continue to watch it? What is like the
Ooh.
one thing you want? Do you guys? just
I'm
as
gonna
a
say someone. Oh man, like a non-force user. Oh man, nope. I don't have it.
Oh,
I don't have any-
okay, okay. Well,
Uh,
going off that, I want Ray to save Finn's life. That's
Sure.
That's the one thing that if
that-
Rey
like
saves
I
Finn's
imagine
life-
it's gonna happen at some point where
Okay.
she's gonna like he's gonna be on death's door. He's about to get his ass kicked. She shows up, whoops somebody's ass, picks him up off the ground, and is like, "All right, let's go." She saves him.
A badass Ray Finn Kylo Ren fight where it's Ray and Finn fighting Kylo Ren.
And
If that's done well. Oh man.
So that's
That'd
one
be
thing. For me, it's a Jedi using the Force to fight with a lightsaber. Like so, no hands.
Yeah.
If like a Jedi is like fighting somebody and then like throws a lightsaber and fighting
You're
someone
still
else,
on
that could
that.
be so cool.
That'd
I
be
think
so
that'd
cool.
be the thing for me. Where it's like, okay, I don't care. Like, let's see what else happens.
If Captain Phasma
Okay.
is Han Solo's daughter and then kills Han Solo and then has a redemption story in the next 2 films, I will continue watching them.
All right,
That was very
that's a
specific.
huge caveat, but there we go. We are about at time, so that's it for today.
Are we gonna
Today
say
on
final?
the
Are we gonna say final thoughts?
final thoughts on what?
I just want. I would like to say.
That
have
was
a
our
final
final
I
thought.
would
That
like
was
to
we just went around and
No,
final
no,
thoughts.
no. I want to end it on something else.
Okay, what Trevor? Excuse me, we're just retconning it. Trevor, does anybody have any final thoughts? Anybody at all? No, no final thoughts. Oh, okay, no. What are your final
No,
thoughts?
no, no. It's fine. It's fine.
my
I was
God.
just gonna say, I think we're all super excited about it, and I wanted to tell the audience that we are very much looking forward to these movies, and we don't think they're gonna
Do you think
suck.
you had to tell the audience that the people
Wait,
doing the
hold
Star
on.
Wars podcast
We
are
do a
excited about
weekly
Star Wars coming in?
podcast.
No, they
No
need to
one
know.
was confused.
They need to know.
You know what that could ruin it for me? Is it's like if someone in the Star Wars movie says, "Oh, don't worry, we love Star Wars, even though we're doing this thing, even though we're killing this character, we actually like Star Wars. We like this character."
All right,
But-
I get it.
oh
I'm
my
an
gosh.
idiot. Let's go to the ending.
On Trevor being an idiot. That's all the time we have for this week's podcast. Today on the podcast, we had Matt Galupo. You can follow me on Twitter at Matt Galupo.
Trevor Adams, you can follow me at HOWIETT. Howlett. There you go.
You
Boom.
should change that.
We'll put it on the screen.
It was. Well, just put your name, man.
No,
No,
I
oh my
can't. You
gosh.
can't.
Keep
change-
going.
My name
Guys,
is
we're
Brandon
already
Winfrey.
way
You
over.
can follow me at B Winfrey. So simple.
Twitter
You
and
misspelled
Instagram
it before.
at Kevin with a KEVIN.
That's it. That's all the time we have. We're out.
Bye.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Hey! Hey, everybody, and thanks for watching that episode of the JKA podcast. If you like it, go to JKA Gear and also subscribe and go to iTunes and subscribe. Watch us in all forms and things. Today's episode of the podcast was filmed in front of a live studio audience. That was my father. Yeah. he came and watched it. He is our only fan.
Now my mom's gonna
That's
wonder
not
why I didn't
true.
invite her.
That's true.
It's
That's
gonna
true.
be
We
bad.
got Pistol Pete.
Kevin's mom and Pistol Pete. We have my dad, Kevin's mom, Pistol
Our
Pete.
biggest fans.
And that's it. Those are our fans. On today's episode of the podcast, we had Matt Galupo. You can follow me on Twitter at Matt Galupo.
Trevor Adams, you can follow me at Howlett, HOWIETT.
Brandon Winfrey. You can follow me at Twitter on at B Winfrey.
And Kevin Burke, you can follow me Twitter and Instagram at Kevin with a KEVIN.
Yeah, and guys, in case you haven't yet, you should really see Star Wars. Like, I feel like go out, buy tickets. It's this small indie film that really needs your help. So go do that.
Good last plug, Matt.
Yeah. I wanted
all-
to get Star Wars in there. They need all the help they can get.
Because we're seeing Alvin and the Chipmunks Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the new
Road
one.
Chip. Have you guys seen the ads for Road Chip?
Road Chip.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Is
We're
it,
out.
It's Jason
Are we
Lee
out?
still, right?
We're
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, we must. I hope we cut before that. We're out. That's it.
We're
We're
out.
done. We're done. All right.
Happy Christmas.
Hey.
May days.
Oh, guys, wait. Happy Life Day. Happy
Oh.
Wookiee
Hey.
Life Day. Yeah.
Well, we lost your dad.
Yeah, he's
Bye.
not. All right.